Hello and welcome to an Everquest guide for Empire's Kunark armor. So we're gonna kind of go over where you find it, where you get it, and some stuff about that. So Empire's Kunark armor is called cohorts. So this is tier 1. This is the cohort armor, and then there is a tier 2, which is called cell racks. Now these come from the different respective tier zones. So if we go to the map here for Empire's Kunark and move that over just a little bit, right? All right, so this is the Ring of Scale and Empire's Kunark zones. So you start out in Licinium here. This is a tier 1 zone. Scorched Woods is a tier 1 zone. Frontier Mountains is a tier 1 zone. Gates of Korsha is a tier 1 zone, apparently. Now, Temple of Droga, Charduk, Korsha Laboratory are all tier 2. So you can see here, the cohorts armor pieces will drop in tier 1, and the Cell Arcs armor will drop in tier 2. And you can see the difference here is very significant. Not significant, insignificant is the word I was looking for there. Now this is comparing legs and gloves, but it's like 100 HP. Not a whole big difference there. So you're going to get, they both require level 105 for each of these. But the cool thing about this armor is you don't have to do anything to get it besides get the item. So here's one of the items right here. I just spent a little bit of time farming it, right? Amorphous Cohorts Gauntlets. So any class can loot it, and it will make the armor for that class. So you can see here, Attuned Gauntlets is the clicky. So if I click on this, it's gonna, so I can get the Cohort Flame Weavers gauntlets here. So this is for a mage, right? This is what this character is. So there we go, we have cohorts gauntlets, right? So we also have some other ones here. So this is the Amorphous Cell Arch Wrist Guard. So this is the bracer. So let's go ahead and click it, right? It's really easy to use both tier 1 and tier 2. This is one of the easier things to use out of all this, right? So I already had a cohorts one. I got now a that one, and I have another bracer here. Let's go ahead and select this. You don't have to buy ores, you don't have to do anything, you just click it and you're ready to go. Like, there's no work involved other than getting the drop. So it's really convenient for both tier 1 and tier 2. Now if we kind of go, where's my other character, right? If we go back to here, right, so that's, tier 1, tier 2. I'm wearing like full tier 1 right now, and I have a few pieces of tier 2 to switch into. Now, later on in another video, I'm going to cover Ring of Scale armor, which is 110. The tier 1 for this requires the tier 2 from Empire's Kunark. So you might be getting these drops, these scale touch gloves facet, but you can't do anything with them unless you spent time in tier 2 Empire's Kunark. So kind of a thing there, and then something to keep in mind when you're doing that, right? Let me see if I can bring this in. So if we look at raidloot.com, right, this is one of my favorite sites for looking at and picking items. So all credit to them. I have no affiliation with them. I just use the site. But you can see here, here's the cohorts breastplate tier 1, and then this Cell Rocks tier 2. So this is scaled to 105 group armor. So you're not gonna see raid armor. Now if you ignore the hardcore Sibyllus gear, which is only an event that only comes out every so often. It's like 110 content. This armor holds up pretty good, considering like if you have the tier 2 piece, right? When Ring of Scale comes out, and say you're on a TOP, you can immediately jump right into this one right here. So I mean, look at the difference, right? So from tier 1 to tier 2, it's like 300, let's just round it out, 300 HP, right? Tier 1 Ring of Scale is another 30 HP, so it's not a huge difference there. But you're getting, you know, a little bit more AC and stuff like that. Now, the real big jump that you'd see would be going to the Burning Lands tier 1, so that's a huge jump right there. But as you can see, it's like not a huge difference, but if you were in, let's see, the Broken Mirror armor, I believe that's, like, it's not shown on here because it's all AUG based, so you're not going to see that. But if we look at the tier 1 Castaway Breastplate here, this is the Darkened Sea, it's 2900 HP. And so it's somewhere between, I think I calculated it one day and it was about 3200 for a TBM set of gear. The Crypt Hunters, I think those are about what I calculated. So it's slightly as good as, you know, the tier 3 here. So Cohorts is going to put another 1,000 on that or so, give or take. Now, that's a pretty good upgrade if you're at that, right? So the Darkened Sea is a level 100 to 105 expansion. After that was TBM, which was a 105 expansion, and then Empires of Kunark, which was another 105 expansion. So there's no level increase for those levels, just gear increases. So it's all that, you know, all that's at that 105 level. So the best you could get at 105 would be like the Sellark's armor, not counting this other stuff in the next expansion. So definitely something interesting there for gear. Now, as I said, this is, you know, each of the different tiers drops it, and it seems to be fairly random. I've looked at EQ Resource, I've looked at Alakazam at the different mobs that I did, right? So I completed the Hunter for Licinium and most of the Hunter for Chardock in the process of getting all this armor. And I did not see any patterns that I could discern from that small sample set, right? I got random pieces. I got bracers the most out of anything. I got 1 or 2 breastplates, so it's not exactly the the top thing, right? You're always gonna get like an item from the named that you killed. You know, all this stuff comes from names, right? So you'll get like this moss axe, right? And then you might get an armor piece in addition to that. I don't think I ever encountered a thing where I did not get the common drop and only got armor. Maybe in Chardock I saw one time where I got 2 pieces of armor. So, but for the most part, it's you're not really gonna have too much of a hard time, right? I killed, like, just for this video, I went to Licinium and I killed where was it? I think it was this character, right? I killed probably 4 names before I got the cohort gloves that I could click for the video. So it is, it's not too rare, not too common, but definitely if you do not have access to like a crafting person, you're going to want to focus on this gear as you're leveling up from 100 to 110. So say your heroic character, you could definitely make the jump straight into cohorts if you are able to get a group together, or in fact solo some of these things. But I think at 100 it might be difficult to solo some of this. You're going to want a group to be able to do that. But you're going to want to get into cohorts as soon as possible and then make your way into the tiers. If you don't have access to a crafter, like on this server, I didn't have access to crafting. So I wasn't able to make flagrant gear at 106 from the Ring of Scale. So definitely a different way of doing it. But that's kind of all the group gear, right? There is a raid tier. There's one raid tier. It's the same clicky. I don't have any of the raid tier from Empire's Kunark, so I can't really talk about it, but like, let me see if here, let me see if I can get it to pop in, right? So if we switch this to raid, actually let's switch it to Empires of Kunark. Empires of Kunark search, right? So you can see here the 3 breastplates from here. So now you're gonna see a huge difference, right? It's almost 1500 HP difference between the tier 2 and the raid. Raid gear is always above and beyond anything that you can get in group, right? It's significantly better. So if you can get this, the clicky item, it's an amorphous Vasilia, you know, breastplate or gauntlet or whatever your item it is, right? You just click it, it turns into it. Same concept, but it's significantly better. And if you're, you know, like a TOP doing the raids, you know, you got, you know, 2 or 3 groups of people, you're going to go back and do some old stuff, farm some gear for alts or something like that. You know, definitely an option there. But yeah, I think I've exhausted this topic at this point. But you know, just want to kind of shout out, this is gear that you're going to wear at 105. I wore it all the way to 110 because I didn't realize, because I was getting at like 107 or 108, I went over there, and I did not realize that you needed the Cellrock armor for this, right? I was like trying to figure out what I was needed. I didn't realize it was the tier 2 from Empires of Kunark. I thought it was some like template thing. Yeah, so that's on me, but I've worn it all the way. I'm still wearing it right now at 110. And I've worn it all the way from 105 to 110. So it's definitely, you know, definitely good. I went from heroic 100 gear to this to wherever I go next. But yeah. So thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.